senior who I liked very much and who liked me very much.
Okay.
And he smokes. And he wanted me to smoke too. And I refused to smoke. So I want to tell every young person that just because you admire somebody, just because you look up to somebody, does not make them perfect. I admired him, I liked him, but I made a conscious decision that I will not fill the mouth that I will use for kissing the forehead of my children or the lips of my beloved with the smoke.
That's a good one. You know, we grow up and then now, even in recent times, you're told that the world has evolved and then morals are even overrated. And we don't, sometimes you are in a space with people and then you so really want to stand by what you believe in. But because of the circumstances around, because people are watching, you're tempted to even, just follow suit.
Yeah, but everybody is an individual.
Exactly.
We are all a unique bundle of electromagnetic waves.
Yeah.
And it is because of these electromagnetic waves that we find some people attractive and some even repulsive.
Yeah.
And if you will remember that you're just this unique individual and that you have the power and beauty of choice,
Right.
you must not fall for everything. For if you fall for everything, you can stand for nothing. Now, at the age of 12, I was in Presec Legon at the time. I determined what my pillars in life were.
Right.
And it was very clear.
What are those?
I wrote it behind some of my exercise books, and it still stands the same. It's 3 E's and a P.
Okay.
So it was essentially excellence, eloquence, elegance. Excellence in all my occupations, eloquence in all my communication,
Okay.
and elegance in all my presentation.
Oh, right.
And for everything I do, a purpose. Because without purpose, we're just wandering strangers being blown by the wind. And we never know where we are going because we have not determined what destination we seek.
Yeah.
But when you determine the destination in advance, it is easier to plan the journey.
Yeah, it's easier said in English, easier said that find your purpose, but trust me, it is that one difficult thing to do, finding your purpose.
It's very easy.
It's very easy? How
Yes,
easy?
and I'll tell you why. I get into very interesting conversations in airport lounges, When I sit in an airport lounge, I sit next to people who look neat and tidy, and I start a conversation.
Right.
And neat and tidy doesn't mean, extremely well-dressed, just neat and tidy.
Okay.
So people don't mistake it, because people think, oh, he's elegant. He wants everybody to be elegant. No,
Yeah.
I seek neatness and tidiness first and foremost, because cleanliness is next to godliness, as you
Exactly.
know. And I start conversations, and I ask simple things like, what do you want to achieve in life? And you'll be amazed how people get confused, and then they go like, no, nobody's ever asked me that before.
Yeah, right.
And then sometimes I start conversations like, what makes you happy? And you find people are grappling, they're clutching at straws. They cannot tell. What makes me happy? Just the smell of bread coming out of a bakery.
Yeah. It's the simplest
The sound of
things.
rain on the roof. The sound of children laughing.
Yeah.
The joy of seeing a man and a woman in love holding hands and walking together. An elegantly dressed person. And people who speak with beautiful turns of phrases. So what makes me happy does not require expenditure. You understand me?
You're right.
Somebody goes, what makes me happy? No, I want to go for a holiday at Turks and Caicos.
Yeah.
I want to buy a bag from Balenciaga. I want to work. No. So when we start these conversations, we start making people realize what's really important.
Yeah.
And it is only when they know what is important that they start realizing they have been wasting too much time.
That is true. I just love your mind, I must say. I love your mind. But we have a question of the day to all men.
Yeah.
It's just coincidental that you happen to have been here this morning. And we're asking that, dear men, what is something society thinks you don't need, but you actually do?
There's over 2,000 responses that will come because every man, being an individual, will tell you what they think based first and foremost on their DNA, and then second on their nurturing, which is their upbringing, and then thirdly on their education, fourthly on their world view, and fifth on the people who have harmed or betrayed them in life. So many broken men walking around looking strong, who have been shattered because of the disloyalty of a woman. Man needs, like the very air we breathe, the love of a loyal woman.
I think that I've had a similar conversation with a man before, and that very recurring thing he kept talking about was loyalty. Why is loyalty extremely important to men?
Loyalty is important to men because, well, before I got married, I married very young. I married when I was 26. My wife was 20.
That's young.
And, there was advice one of my uncles gave me, and I don't think it's a bit too early to say it on radio, but he says, if you spend too much time chasing around, you will eventually marry the woman who has been around. So if you find a woman who is good, don't wait till she's perfect. You have a list. But if you can find 65% in that list, start something with that one. Because the longer you wait, the longer other people are using what you want to value later. So when I was about to marry, my father sat me down and he says, you will be a boy, then you'll be a man, then you'll be a husband before you become a father. And these are words that I've also told all the young men around me, including this fine gentleman standing here. You will be a boy, then you will be a man, then you will be a husband before you become a father. So he made me understand the conscious decisions I had to make. A boy is playful, you're busy learning. A man has learned, he is employed, either self-employed or employed by somebody. He is able to feed himself and now determines to feed a family. That is when he chooses to be a husband. And he chooses to be a husband because he wants to have a legacy and raise a family. So my father summed husbandry in just 3 key words. He says, you will protect, you will provide, and you will preside. If you don't want to do these things, you are not fit to marry as a man. So I asked him, what about the woman? And he said, so I went to my mother, and she also explained that you will be a girl, then you will be a lady. She didn't say woman. Or no can lady. My papa can man, one can gentleman. But my mother says you will be a girl, then you will be a lady, then you'll be a wife before you become a mother. Don't jump the gun. Because if you jump the gun, you will pay for it later in life, or your children will pay for it later in life.
Exactly.
So I asked her to, Dad says the man must protect, provide, preside. And she says, well, and she told me in Chi what the woman must also do to be a wife.
Exactly.
You know, wife is a bit confusing. W-I-F-E. It's worries invited forever.
Why are you doing that?
I'm saying that because you know she's not perfect. You know she wasn't raised by your father or mother. She's different from you in so many ways. You know that she will get things wrong, but you choose her above every other woman in the world. So if the wife is the heart, those who choose to be the lesser beings that call themselves side chicks are the chalewati in which people stand to have their bath. The wife is the one the man glorifies. If he's walking in the rain and has an umbrella, and his wife is to the right, and others are to the left, the umbrella will move to the right. So my mother says that wife, for whom the man protects, provides, and presides, also has a duty to her husband and children.
Yeah.
And hers is to nourish. Also, now beshe niyemo kom. Any a kombia eka home. You will nourish, and then you will polish. When now be siesi you kunu ne woma ene woman tim wankase wufie. Nourish, polish, and support. Obeta nechi. Se nisika soa wo hwe de nisika ne bi ye adwuma bi a daachi sika ne bi ni ho a wo adwuma na wo bue na ebeboa no. Se nisika so a wo besua adwuma bi ayo na konhoma no bona nso a wasoso.
Yeah.
So the man protect, provide, preside, the woman nourish, polish, support. And whenever I say these things, I must rise and thank
do I
my
rise
mother, Ohima Ama Asukwa Kyei Darkwah, after whom my daughter is named,
Okay.
and my father, Openin Kwesi Darkwah of Adansi Dompoase, Eduanaba, after whom my son is named.
I can listen to you, for as long as I don't know. You speak lots of wisdom, and it's so nice to actually get to connect with you and even speak with you. And one of the things when you were talking, I was just looking at your outlook, everything, and I must say this is a style that we've known for a very long time. And right now, I would say that you are the crescendo of your career, because seeing here that you're serving as Ghana's special envoy to the Caribbean region, and there's so many young people in the space of creativity, and we so yearn to get to where you've gotten to, but constantly the path isn't clear. It's either you're showing up, but then doors are not opening. I know that you've walked your path. You've had some your very own experiences. How do young people continue to stay true to themselves, but continue to also keep showing up? Now creativity is thriving. So how do we do that?
I think you must start by looking at your parents, because no matter how you love or dislike them, you're actually a product of your parents. Sometimes you don't see it with clarity, but as you grow older, you will see it. Oh, mommy, you buffoon kitting kitty beer, and say, I know a can be beer in your so can. Once who will be she baby. And to walk cow mammy as a mark, I say, what to say, oh, mamma, make a crack. Oh, papa, ye be a enya or fe, a be an emma pe, a be an enya maybe or ya enya or fe, no kai say, we oh, papa ba, and to cacrebi or baby. Now, the reason you must know your parents is it is only when you know them sufficiently that you will know how to find the cure to their maladies, so you don't repeat what they did. My father has only 3 wives, and he could have 12 if he wanted to, because in his era, a man with resources was expected to marry many in the society, that those women would not be left around for bored Christian men to play with their nakedness. So it was better to marry the women, for the one with resources to have them in homes, than to leave them roaming.
Yeah.
I determined I will never marry more than one woman. But I also determined that whatever it is that makes a man add on to his wives, be it religion or culture or endless desire, I will make a conscious effort to let a woman go if she starts being disrespectful. We do not marry for happiness. We marry to raise children. And if we forget that, every time we are in our feelings, we will either cheat or will break the heart of our beloved. Usru awarijaya, unya awarepa. So the woman must determine to be with the man that adores her.
Yeah.
And the man must determine to be with the woman that respects him. Respect is love for a man. Love is respect for a woman. So once you know your parents and you start finding the cures to the maladies of your parents, you have found yourself. And once you have found yourself, you must ask yourself, what are the things I love doing that I would do any day, even if I was not paid?
Yeah.
Why did Abedi Pele become a great footballer? He loved football. He didn't play it for the money. Why did his sons become great footballers? They looked at their dad and they saw the talent of their dad and they say, if it's in him, it's in us.
Yeah.
And so if we follow this path, we too will find our greatness. But why do some doctors also have sons who want to be musicians or artists? Because they have a certain artistic bug in them that pushes them into a certain direction. And if parents will stop disappointing their children by forcing them into professions that the children do not want, the children will thrive. First they will survive and then they will thrive. So all the young ones, ask yourself, what is it that I would do and continue doing if I was not paid a salary like you behind this microphone today? If the network said we're having difficulties with money and for the next 1 week we will not be able to give you your salary, will you come to work or not?
Definitely, I will come to work.
Why will you come to work?
I'll come to work because it's something I enjoy doing, and I believe in. I think that I'm looking beyond, the 1 week that I'm not going to be paid, because I'm building on my craft, I'm perfecting it, and definitely I know that while I'm here, it only gets better.
So you've answered the question. Find your passion. But after you find your passion, find your purpose.
Right.
Passion alone is not enough. When you find your passion, you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
And if you do it well, you will be remunerated for it. But you must also find a mentor or a coach who teaches you how to monetize your passion.
Yeah.
Because the difficulty we've had in years with the people who work in the creative sector, from musicians to artists to graphic designers to songwriters to TV producers and directors, is that we loved this passion so much that we refused to think of how it will pay us. It's not enough to have a passion.
Right.
You must also ask yourself, how do I monetize this passion?
So I was going to ask you something, and I think that just what you've said will link us to what I wanted to ask you next. I was going to ask you, right from growing up in Ghana, you've been that one person that has been so culturally rooted. Did you see something that we didn't see then? Because now I'm seeing, isn't that an Idinkra symbol in your...
This is... Funtum funefu denchem funefu. When a fu yeba kope nansu wodidi anaoko.
Right.
I've been wearing this symbol lately because of the Ghana Caribbean connection. Because wherever I go, it becomes a piece for conversation.
What does it mean?
It is the double-headed croc. The double-headed crocodile, or alligator, as other people may say, because they look similar. The double-headed crocodile has only one belly, but they fight over food. But whoever eats the food goes into the belly to nourish both heads. So why are they fighting over food?
Yeah, what's the link?
The link is that we are one people, we are one family, but we are fighting over the acquisition of resources. We must support the one who is able to step forward.
Right.
There must be the leader. There must be leadership. And there must be servants. The leaders must start as servants before they become leaders. That is the only way they become servant leaders. One of my dear brothers is Anan Ankoma, brilliant lawyer by all standards. Wherever he goes in the world, he will excel. He's got children who are lawyers too. Brilliant guy. And he called himself servant leader or chief servant at his firm where he was the boss. And I said, this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Now when you have a good servant leader, you don't fight him over resources, because whatever resources he gets will serve you all.
Exactly.
So Ghana and the Caribbean have one belly. We are sons and daughters of the same ancestors. Some were stolen away from our lands. It was not a slave trade, it was slavery. It's not a trade when one has a gun and all you have is your cutlasses for weeding. No, that's not a trade. That's bullying. That was not a trade. That was slavery. Let us not let the perpetrators of this atrocity now use the weak minds amongst us to say, oh, it was slave trade because I hear there were some Ashanti men who were benefiting from it. I hear there were some Northern men who were benefiting from it. Absolute poppycock. The great flood of tears that we've cried for our brothers and sisters who have died over 400 years. I mean, now we wash away our tears and we turn back the tide. We look for reparations, as President John Dramani Mahama has stepped forward to let the world know. So young people, get your passion. Turn the passion into something that looks after you. And then find your purpose. Because just making money is mere primitive acquisition of resources. But what are you going to deploy those resources for? And when I go into any community, I know there are rich people when I see libraries with the names of people who are not in government. When I see hospitals with the names of people that are not in government. When I see roads, which may even be told that are built in the names of people who are not in government. The people in government are not your leaders. They are your servants.
They work for you.
So I was explaining to a few of my mentees.
Okay.
He's the leader of all the servants.
Right.
You understand? That's why they call us public servants. So, and I on my hene. On my hene the odieso. On my asuafu penny the osomoyen. And if you look at the humility and the demeanor of President John Dramani Mahama, well, I tell you also, he's a very firm guy. We didn't deal with you. But he has a beautiful demeanor. He shows the on my asuafu penny, not the on my penny. You know, and we need more of that in our governments in Africa.
We sure do more of that. We need more of that. Thank you so much for coming through this morning. But I do hope I get the opportunity to also be a part of, you know, the agenda. That I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I don't know who.
No, you should come by our diplomatic cocktail tomorrow because we're having a diplomatic cocktail as part of the ceremony of the Ghana Caribbean Week. And at this diplomatic cocktail, I want to introduce the media persons to the ambassadors. I want to introduce our musicians to the ambassadors. I want to introduce our businessmen to the ambassadors and create synergies so people can start enterprises. Who knows? You may start a Ghanaian Caribbean podcast. Who knows?
Definitely.
It's in the works.
So I have a special pass then.
And I have a special request if you will play one for me.
Alrighty.
There is a young lady by the name of Onika Tanya Mirage. The world knows her as Nicki Minaj. And she comes from Trinidad and Tobago. So in your rotation today, if you can play a song or two by her, I would be so delighted.
I will do that. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
Do enjoy. Thank you so much for passing by.